I know you guys miss him. I'm glad to be back and see your smiling faces and be back in on the grass and between the field outside for practice number one, starting really the second quarter. Our first quarter of the off season was January, February in the weight room, conditioning, doing all those things, OTAs, and just kind of getting in preparation for 2025. The second quarter for us is spring ball. Obviously, third quarter will be our summer program. Fourth quarter will be next preseason camp. But I thought it was a really good day one. Guys had good energy, bouncing around, got a lot of things done. Didn't want to overload them too much day one and try to run the marathon, so to speak, on day one. We kind of want to work our way into this thing, and had a day in helmets. Thursday will be in helmets again, and then Friday we'll put the pads on. So we're going to progress up to that. But I thought the guys moved around really well. Saw some young guys taking some snaps. We made sure we went two different fields, two spots at the same time. I think we got about 117 guys out there. Got a few injuries, obviously, as you always do in spring, but working through those things, and it gives a chance for some younger guys to get some reps and some inexperienced guys. Obviously, you got 13 high school freshmen out there that should really be preparing for the prom, that are figuring out what a college football practice is about and which way to go. You got 17 newcomers, transfer kids out there practicing with us for the first time in a practice situation who are trying to figure out the exact culture and the standard and the operating procedures from there. So that'll take a day or two to get that stuff ironed out. But I think overall, went really happy with how day one went on the field from the eye test. Obviously, we have a lot of things to clean up on film, but looking forward to that, and that's why we practice, and that's why we're getting started.
Coach, with obviously Caden being out, it still looks like he's trying to do as much as he can. Just talk about that process and how you guys are divvying up the other quarterback reps.
Yeah, Caden's done a phenomenal job this offseason, and not just on the field or in the weight room or taking care of his body, but, developing as a leader. And that's what I'm most proud of him right now, is just the way his mindset. A year ago, he was just a guy trying to prove that he belonged here and he could play football and sling the football around and learning the offense, those types of things. And right now you see him taking on a leadership role within not just the quarterback room, but within the offense and within our football team, and that's pretty special. And he's taking that next step. And there's several other guys that are doing that as well. And he's sitting behind the quarterback, whether it's team period, skelly period, one-on-one period, whatever it may be, and taking every rep mentally. And me and him are talking through the offense. He's teaching me a little bit of that and terminology, which is really good for me. But just really proud of him and the progression he's making. He can obviously throw the ball around a little bit and could be cleared if we were playing a real game in April and lining up to Indowdy-Ficklin for game time. He'd be ready to go, but we obviously want to be cautious with him and a couple others in spring ball to make sure we got him full speed for next August and 28th of the month there.
Speaking of full speed, it's like the opposite of last year. We had a new offensive staff. Now it's a new-ish defensive staff. What's it been like just getting Coach Aldridge in the mix and having him out there officially?
Yeah, you talked about the offense first of all, and Coach Baker and the offensive staff coming in a year ago. And I said it's almost like a 100-level class when you're installing a new offense. And right now they're already past they've graduated onto the grad level. So see those guys moving around and flying around, and those new receivers incorporated really fast. It's pretty special what they're doing, in practice one. And defensively, we're just taking some things we've done in the past, some things he's done in the past, and incorporating them. And like I told the guys out there, and just kind of, having a little motivation there at the end of practice is it's not about scheme to me. It's not about X's and O's. It's about player development and developing our culture, and that's about running to the football. That's about having great energy at practice. That's about being disciplined in what we do, meaning we're going to either pick up the third down or we're not going to pick up the third down. There's no in between. And then, knowing our job and executing our job is the final piece. So that's our focus right now, is developing that each and every day. And then obviously we got to do, get through the scheme things, but right now it's more about how we do things from a overall standpoint.
Sam Danka, Jackson Barker, while they've been playing some inside linebackers. So talk about that transition and everything there.
Yeah, Sam Danka and Jackson are both playing some new positions. A year ago we had Raheem Craig and Sam Danka at the same position, and Jackson Barker as well. And I thought three guys that are older young men who have played for us, played valuable snaps, all are good football players, and they're too good to be playing behind each other. And, we just need to try to get as many guys that are our best 11 on the field, and we're going to try every single way to do that as possible, whether it's put them on the edges, put them at linebacker, whatever it may be. So, fired up about Sam. and what he's done so far, and Jackson as well. And they're older guys that are taking on, different roles in our football team and doing a really good job of it.
Did you find yourself accidentally migrating to the inside linebackers at any point today? A little bit for you there?
Yeah, we broke flex, and we obviously do our little football takeaway, all about the ball circuit there at the beginning, then a little tempo drill, and then we transitioned to Indy. I almost took off running to the Indy, and but now I catch myself kind of actually migrating to the offense, and some of that's just more like I don't want to be seen as just a defensive coach. I want to make sure I understand both sides of the football. I feel good about different ways to manage the game as well as get to know our players and get to learn our offense as well. So I'll spend most of my time with the offense in practice, and maybe most of the time with the defense in meetings. So I've got a plan to attack that as of now. Obviously if that works well, that's what we'll continue to do. If it's not, we'll switch it up and change it up a little bit. But it is a little different. You just you're not the defense coordinator anymore. You're not the linebackers coach. So that's a little bit new. And I think we had some players out there that were at Pro Day this morning that's looking for their next phase in life, and they asked me about it. I said, in some ways it's a little boring, but I'm finding my path, and it's new, but I'm enjoying it.
Coach, the offseason approached pretty quick in your tenure here at ECU. Just how was it navigating NIL and the portal, and just talk about all that?
Yeah, we played on December 28th, up in Annapolis, got back early in the morning of the 29th, and we were back in here the 1st, worrying about the transfer portal, worrying about our players and our roster for 2025. So you don't really have time to enjoy 2024. So we had a quick turnaround there and navigating that, and then we started school January 13th. Our players reported January 12th. And sat in this very room and started talking about 2025 and attacking this off season, and how each and every day can't just be to, ooze through it. It's got to be an important day. As we said before many times, it's the most important day of the year, and we got to win each and every single day. And that way we attack the process, and we're not worried about the outcome. And if we'll do that, the outcome will take care of itself. But that was January. As coaches, we hit the road and did high school recruiting for the whole month of January because I thought that was important, especially in our state, especially in Eastern North Carolina, and protecting this area of our state and making sure that we bring local talent to the Pirate Nation. And, our coaches did a really good job with that. The month of February was mostly spent, just getting stronger, starting to install some schemes. And then here we are in March, ready to attack the next phase of it.
Just going back to Pro Day for a sec, how did
Yeah.
you kind of enjoy, having Pete back, so talking to him, and just seeing your guys out there talking?
Yeah, we had 22 young men out there for Pro Day, 20 guys who were on our squad last fall. And just, as they walk in the building, as they walk back on campus, whether it was today or this past weekend, and just seeing their smiles and how happy they were to be around. And they were actually a bunch of them at practice today. And I told our players, I said, the reason they come to practice, the reason you have excitement for them in the weight room. I had several scouts come up to me today in the weight room. We're running 40s. They're doing the broad jump, whatever it may be. And our players are just pulling for each other and excited for each other. And generally we want to see them succeed. And that's because they care about each other. And that's our culture, that you got guys that care for each other, pull for each other, and they want to see each other be successful. So we're just really happy about those guys coming back, performing, and excited about their next steps. And it was nice to have Keaton around as well, kind of been through the process, helping some of his buddies out, teammates, guys that, he came in with Big Tay and Raji, and those are his guys. So it's nice to see him supporting them, and seeing Raji and Siobhan was out there, and all those guys just kind of looking forward to the next step. And a bunch of scouts are excited about those guys and the young men. And I told them this morning, and when we met with the scouts, I said, you guys got to decide, athletically, were they fit for you? But I tell you this, I'll stand on the table every day for every single one of those kids' is character and the type of people they are, or we wouldn't have finished the season the way we did, 5-1, and a big bowl win. And it's a lot of credit to those young men that went through Pro Day today.
Just curious, I got a spring ball question for you. I know you got your plan set for this spring, but there's been talk from other programs about potentially doing joint practices.
Yeah.
Trying to face another program. Is that something in the future you would ever entertain or think about?
Of course. I think anytime you have an opportunity to line up against somebody across the other side of the field from you and have an opportunity to compete, it's going to make you better. And I think it would be great for college football, it'd be great for our fan base, and great for our players and development too. I mean, you're working, so many times you're working against each other, and that does help improve you, and you try to build that competition. But if you can have an opportunity to go compete against another football team, another program, it gives you something to prepare for. And anytime you can step on, in Dowdy-Ficklin or on the game field and simulate as close to possible as a game day in the fall, that's really important. So I'm not sure where to go in spring ball. I doubt we go that direction. I could see us going more of the other direction, kind of the NFL style and free agency maybe in the spring and OTAs kind of later May, June. So who knows? I'm not a fortune teller, but I do have a lot of answers for all the transfer portal stuff.
This is probably a question better for when the pads come on, but the D-line room, obviously, a lot of the guys we saw there, pro day,
Right.
moving on, just the development of that group this spring under Coach Tesh, how important is that?
Coach Tess has always done a phenomenal job of just developing young men and developing young guys and to fit our culture, fit our program, fit what we do defensively, and getting them ready for the fall. And obviously they won't be there on day one, but I guarantee we look up in a couple weeks and we'll know exactly who, some of those guys are, what jersey number they are. Today they just look like a bunch of jersey numbers, but, in a couple weeks we'll know exactly who's who and who's standing out and who's developing. And a lot of that's credit to Coach Tesh and the way those guys work in there. He's got a group that is hungry, a group that's ready to go to work, and all about business, and that's why they're here. So, and that's why we chose them to be here, and that's why they chose to be here.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.